Hello and Happy New Year 2022. We are heading back to the Rim to start a brand new colony. We are going to have a queer and polyam colony with the ideology expansion, keeping the royalty expansion as well, and adding a few new mods. Let's head into our first episode to meet our new colonists. So to start off, I have made a couple of adjustments to the mod list. I've tried to go through and remove some of the bloat, but it was really almost impossible. There was really only a few mods that I felt I could live without, so I still have quite a few. I haven't added anything too major, but I do have a couple of mods that I've added that are pretty significant. One of these is the vanilla expanded ideology memes and structures. So it adds a bunch of stuff to the ideology expansion just to give some variety to the game. I haven't tried this yet, so I'm really eager to test it out and see how it goes. I've also added the psychology mod, and I've tried it out a little bit in another colony that I've been playing over the winter break, and I like it. I haven't seen too many features thus far, but it seems really cute and simple, and it adds some positive things like social things, like people able to hang out together, which I thought was really cute. I think it'll add a lot to our story. I really want to get into more of the story of the characters in this series. Other than that, I haven't really changed a lot. Most of the mods are the same as they were in my 2021 colonies. Let's jump into it and meet our colonists next. So we're going to start a new colony and keep the typical settings. We're going to do crash landed. I'm going to stick with Cassandra, and I'm going to try adventure story as always. I am kind of a wimp. I'm not much of a fighter when it comes to raids. That's not why I play the game. That's not what I'm into. But I'll try adventure story and we'll see how it goes. Go with reload anytime. Okay, here's the seed we're gonna go with. 22 colony 22 with stars on either side. I wanted to do a boreal forest map this time around. This one has lots of good choices. And right here, it's got some nice cities around in the Free Shoulder Mountains, right underneath Woodpecker Bush, the Grey Desert, Far Magpie Forest. Yeah, let's settle in between all of those. There was a good spot here. Slate and marble. Not too bad, still pretty chilly, but not horrendously cold. I kind of wanted to do a map with a river and kind of a mountainous terrain, but there wasn't really, I couldn't find a good map that had a boreal climate with a little bit of water in the mountains, but not like super huge, crazy mountains. So I think we'll try this. We'll try just a river in the boreal forest, and we'll build our base wherever we can. I'm sure there'll be a few little areas that have some stone. All right, let's see what we get. We're gonna go with a slightly bigger map. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so first we have to choose our ideologian. Okay, so here are all the interesting choices that we get with the new mod. There's some various presets. Neat. This one looks like real life. Corporate overlords. Very interesting. Flame seers, ne'er-do-wells, the medieval monarchists. Here's some intense ones, the mole people. Pestilent doomsayers. Oh, the body is a vessel for experimentation. Very interesting. So it has some extra symbols here as well. Not too many. Most of these are in the original, but it's got a whole row of extra ones. This sounds cool. Secular spirituality. I like that. Let's start there. I like collectivist, so let's stick with that. Lots of interesting new choices here, like astrology. Ooh, careful examination of the stars. That is neat. I kind of like that. I'll do that. So that's 2 low impact. Holy diseases, that's interesting. Sweet teeth. Very cute. I like desserts. Healthcare. Oh, neat. Oh, I kind of like this. Required precepts. Tend quality increased. Hospital required. Charity is essential. I like that. Okay, and I think that's enough. We don't want to add too much. This is cool. Fishing culture. Lots of interesting stuff. I can see why people like this expanded version of Ideoligion. Ooh, freaky. Technology should be shunned unless it serves the flesh. Body modification. Very neat. Nomad. Oh, very cool. Traveling the world. Okay, well, let's stick with what we've got. So we've got a collectivist Ideoligion that looks to the stars to unlock mystical powers, and we believe in healthcare. Is that too weird? Why don't we take out mood is yeah. Okay, let's take out the stars. That's a bit strange to have. I feel like those two don't go together well. So let's have a healthcare focused collectivist society. Let's try that. Alright, so here's our narrative. Charity is essential. Slavery is honorable. Hospital required. Drug use medical only. Let's see if we can do medical and social. 10 quality increase, that's cool. Let's be sure to add, we definitely want physical love to be free and approved. And we want meritage. And we want marriage name. We can have that random. Keeping names conflicts with collectivists. That's interesting. Death is normal. Mood is normal. Yeah. Oh, and this we want to add. So unlimited spouses for everyone. Marriage name is random. Here's our roles. Parties. I kind of like to add a party. We've got a dance party and a funeral. I love the lantern one, so let's add one of those. The Harmony Festival. That sounds great. Okay, we've got some symbols, pews, some relics. We have no animals or weapons that we should or should not use. I kind of like having a preferred apparel so that everyone looks similar. Let's go with a cloak, but we'll make it relaxed, so it won't be required. All right, I kind of like the star. I think that's an okay symbol. But let's take a look at our names for things. Doctrine of secular spirituality. Spiritual person, that sounds cool. Meditation room, sure. And I think I'm going to go with light blue. I like that color. Maybe we'll change this. Let's go with, what about spirituality of all? How does that sound? Like that. Okay. Amazing. And we'll wait to hear our song until we have a festival or ritual. Okay, let's go with this. Cloak apparel desire overlaps with moral guide apparel requirement. Oh, just a second. Let's check that. What do these have? Broad wrap. Burqa. Okay, so let's change this. If we remove that, does that fix it? It does. Okay, I'm thrilled to intro you to our colonists for this series. We have 3 families of colonists that have their own relationships and backstories. So I'm going to first start with the gem siblings. We have Emerald, Garnet, Pearl, and Peridot. So they grew up, they were born in a world that did not value female babies. So the girl babies, Emerald and Pearl, were sold off to other colonies and worlds, whereas the boy children, Garnet and Peridot, were kept with their parents. So for Emerald, she ended up growing up as an industrial orphan, never knew her parents, and she ended up working in the mines in an industrial world. But then she became a hunter and ended up hunting wild animals to feed her community. She met Lyric while they were industrial orphans together, and Lyric ended up becoming a mutinous captain. So they eventually escaped their world. Back to the gem siblings. So Garnet was one of the male children. He stayed with the parents, where he was trained as a medical assistant. Whereas his brother, Peri, ended up going into a coma and didn't wake up until his late teens. He later became a raider, and Garnet ended up becoming a livestock farmer. And the 4th gem sibling, Pearl, was sold off into a world that was toxic, and she had to grow up in a shelter. And she had an education there, but they didn't do any physical labor. So those are the gem siblings. And we also have a friendship between M and Lyric, who grew up together. So let's look at Mel and Lyric, who are also siblings. So we have Lyric, who did end up getting sold off as an industrial orphan as well, never knew her parents. Mel ended up living in the herb worlds, industrial cityscapes, grew up in the dark. She had to fight for every scrap of food. And the last family, Rose and Nita. So Rose is short for Rosalind. She lived as a wreckage explorer in her teens, was tasked with watching the family's herds, but often shirked her duties to go exploring. So there was crashed warships all around the planet. She was off doing her own thing. Whereas meanwhile, Juanita was staying with her parents on their world during a time of unrest. Climate change was threatening mass starvation. Billions died and peaceful states descended into anarchy. Nita and her parents did whatever they had to do to survive. So she and Rose aren't super close, because whereas Juanita was staying and helping the family, Rose was kind of off doing her own thing, trying to escape their world and just learn her own skills. She later became a chemist. She became really good with explosives and pharmaceuticals. And Nita became a doctor. So they both had good skill with medical stuff. Let's look at the colonists and their gender identities. I definitely had lots of fun with this. So we'll start with Rose, who goes by, so Rosalind goes by Rose. She uses she, her pronouns, and she's a lesbian. Emerald goes by M, she, her pronouns, and is bi. Lyric is she, her, male to female trans, and also bi. Lyric's sibling Mel is also she, her, and is also male to female trans, but is straight. Garnet, he, him pronouns, and is gay. Nita goes by she or they and is queer and genderqueer. Pearl goes by she, her pronouns and is ace. And Peri goes by he, her, or they pronouns, is enby and pan. So even though we'll be starting with only these 3 colonists, hopefully we will see these other 5 colonists when they come visiting as guests. I have set them all to be random gentle tribes so that it won't be enemies. So hopefully we will see them as guests and be able to recruit them that way. The only other relationship we have besides all of the sibling groups is that Mel used to be married to Garnet. For equipment, I've added a few herbal medicines so that we don't have to gather them immediately right off the bat in case anything happens, like our first mad animal. And our pet is a female German Shepherd. Let's get started and see what our map looks like. Yeah, we're ready to start. Okay, our colonists have landed and our map is looking not too bad. I'm gonna get them to equip their weapons. Lyric is gonna be a soldier, but is mostly gonna be busy with cooking and whatnot. So we'll just equip her with a revolver. M is gonna be our main hunter due to her skill with animals, so we'll give her the rifle. And Rose is going to be mostly doing building, mining, whatnot. So we'll give her the knife for now. We have a pretty well-balanced team. They're our first 3 colonists, so I went ahead and gave them pretty OP traits and really good skills. And hopefully we'll gain some other decent colonists along the way. Here's a look at our map. Not too bad. There's a lot of swampy area in the boreal forests or marsh area. But we've got this nice river running through, and we've got a bit of a lake up here, which would be decent for fishing, setting up a fishing area. It looks like there's at least a couple of ancient dangers on the map. One down here, one all the way up here, which is almost all ancient danger. Kind of looks funny. We'll be leaving those alone. There's not too many structures on the map to borrow some walls from with the Minify Everything mod, but there's a few. So we're going to start our little base here with an 8x8 freezer. We'll use this little in-between space as a first washroom because with the hygiene mod we need to set up a latrine right away, and a well, and a water tub. And we'll have our colonists sleep in the freezer until we get some other rooms built. I think I'm just going to mostly organically build out from this area. We might mine in a little bit, make some safe areas that aren't at risk of getting raiders dropped on top of them. Be a good spot for a workshop. And then I think the rest of the area will kind of be built around this area here. And we might do some farming on this rich soil until we get up some farmland with tilled soil set up. And our anima tree is over here. So that'll work well if we put all of our building mostly over this way. I think I'll kind of let it grow organically. I won't do too much planning in advance. Next episode, we'll get to see the beginnings of the base and we'll see how much we can get set up each episode. I'm planning on doing everything a little bit faster than previous series, so I'll skip a lot of the, the kind of boring basic stuff, but I will definitely pause and show everyone anything fun or exciting, like our first visitors, things like that. So we'll say goodbye to Rose, M, and Lyric for now. I'll say see you next week, and I hope everyone will enjoy the new Queer and Polyam Ideoligion series. Hope everyone's new year is off to a really great start. If you've gone back to school already or are going back to school or university next week like I am, I hope your classes go well, whether they be virtual or actually in person. And I'm sending Queer Mom hugs out to everyone. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.